Okay, in this video I'm going to go over how to make labels very easily in Illustrator, vector labels. So to begin with, I have this file here with some of these little images. You can download this from my website in the link below and use these images if you'd like to. They're under the free section of my website. And what we're going to look at is how do we go about creating these labels. So here goes. I'm going to come on in, come to File, New, and just create a new file. And I'll make my width 11. I'll put my height in at 14. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to start first and focus in on this shape right in here. So we come on in and we begin first with a circle. So I can click here and I can decide how large I want my circle to be, and I'll come on in and I'll make it 4 by 4. I'll hit OK and there's my circle. Now I'm going to put a fill color in just so I can see it a little bit better, and I'll turn the stroke off. So there we have the circle. Now, I want to take a look at adding the scallops, the circular outline. So I'm going to come on in again and I'm going to grab my circle and I'll click. And this time I'm going to come in and I'm going to say 0.5 by 0.5. I'm going to hit OK. And actually, yeah, that one's fine. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on in, I'm going to line it up. And what I want to do now is grab my rotate tool, which is the letter R. So I'm going to come to R, and then on my keyboard, I'm going to hold down Option or Alt. I'm going to come on in. I'm going to line up this center part right with the center, and I can see I have my smart guides on, so I can see where I am. I click, and I get this little image right here. Okay, so I'm going to do a preview. And I will copy as well. But I'm going to say here that the whole circle measures 360 degrees. So I want to have, let's say 16 of these circles. Actually, let's do 18. 18 of these circles. I'm going to hit copy and then Command A. All right, so actually the 18 was not enough, but I could make this one of my labels as well. Then we'll do another one. So the next thing that I'm going to do in order to make this all one shape is I'm going to come on in and I'm going to select, and I'm going to grab my Pathfinder and I'll hit Unite. All right, so now what happens is this whole thing is one shape. Okay, so now turning this into a vector label, the next thing that I'll do is I'll come to Effect, and I will stick in the Illustrator effects, come to Stylize, add a drop shadow. Now, when I'm looking at the drop shadow, I always want to preview it, kind of see what it looks like. Here, oops, there we go. Okay, a little bit too big, don't want so much. I'm going to, make this a little bit smaller. All right, I'm going to come in, let's make this a little bit 0.5. Instead of the 1/10, let me add this over here, 0.5. Okay, like that, a lot better. And maybe we'll just do a 0.5 in the blur too. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, a little bit better. Still, you know, don't want so much of that. So I'm going to go 0.2. I'm going to come up to here, 0.2, and I'm going to put the blur down to 0.1. Okay, like that a lot better. Okay, so there we have it. I hit OK. I have my first label done. Now I can come on in and start putting things in. Let's do this one more time and take a look. I'm going to come on in and I'm going to create a circle. Again, I'll make this one 3 inches by 3 inches. I hit OK. Okay, grab this, put this right here. Now I'm going to grab another circle, click. All right, this one will make a little bit bigger. Let's make this one 1 inch by 1 inch, hit OK. All right, I'm going to grab this guy. I want to try to, line it up as much as I can, bring it up as much as I want to. Again, I grab the letter R for the rotate tool. Holding down R, I'll grab Alt or Option, take this center point, bring it to the center. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm saying that I want this image to rotate from this center. I click, I get this right here. Now this is set to the next one and it will be a 20 degree and I can tell it that will be great. So I'm going to hit copy, Command D. Okay, as many times as I need to. Again, I select all of them. I merge the shapes and there I have it. Again, I'm going to come on into Effect and I will do one more. I will come in, Stylize, Drop Shadow. I'm going to get rid of the blur. So I don't like the blurs that much. Whoopsie. Okay, there we have it. Okay, now I can come on in. I can come to here, to this image with these guys. I can, select this, edit, copy, come on in, edit, paste in front. Then again, I can always come on in and change the color as well. So maybe I want to come on in and change the color, change the size. All right, so I think we get the idea. And, just if I was to come back, I can make this my label right in here. Object, I'm going to always group them so they move nicely together. And I can come back in, add another little something in for this guy as well. Now, let's just take a quick look and review. So if I wanted to do this one right here, what did I do? Well, I would come on in and just work with a triangle, right? So instead of rotating it with a circle, I would do a triangle. Now, another nice look a lot of times too is just adding a stroke. So even when I look at this one, I might say, I kind of want a stroke on this. And what color would I want to use? Sometimes it's best to put the color, I'm going to use that one right there. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. Oh, and wow, it added it to all of them. So I think we get the idea. Make it a little bit bigger, go into 2 points, see what we have. All right, and we can keep working, play around, and again, you can spend a lot of time working with this. All right, let's take a look at the next type of label that we can create. And we want to take a look at, how do we go about creating this type of label? Or how do we go about creating this type of label? And also, how do we create this little scallop part at the bottom? So let's focus in on this one and take a look. Okay, so I just changed this a little bit to make it work a little bit better, and you can spend lots of time making things work or not work. All right, so working on the next shape of a label. Probably you have a good sense of already how to do it. Again, we're just combining different shapes. I turned on my rulers. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some guides. So I'm going to go from 1, and I'm going to pull out another guide to 4, because I'm going to make the next label 3 inches wide, and I want to have a good sense of where the halfway point is. So I come on in, I grab my rectangle, I click. I want the width to be 3. I'm going to put the height in at 4. So I hit OK, and I'm going to definitely give it a color so I can see it a little bit better. Kind of a fleshy color. Not so wild about that, but let's go for something more like that. Beautiful. Okay, so I can click in and I'm going to line it up. Line it up. Okay, I'm going to turn off the stroke and I'm going to create another one for the top. So I'm going to click the rectangle and I'm going to click and I'm going to make the height much smaller. I'll put the height in at 2. I can even, let me put it at 1.5. I'm going to hit OK. And there I have this. I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up, line it up, line it up. Okay, excellent. And then I am going to take our next one and work with this. So I'm going to grab the white arrow, I'm going to click, I'm going to grab the anchor point, and then I'm going to move over 3/8 of an inch so I can see 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move it on over click this. 1. Actually, I'm going to move it this way because then I can see it better. 1, 2, 3. There we have that. And then I'm going to click onto this one, and I'm going to move this over. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these 2 little triangles right here. And a lot of times it's easier to just zoom in to do this. So I'm going to grab the shape builder tool, and I'm going to hover and click, and I'm going to hover and click. Then what I'll do is click on off, grab the white arrow, delete, delete, click onto here, delete, delete, and there I have it. I have my first one. So far, so good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 2 shapes. I'm going to, again, merge them. Click to merge. And then to get this little area that's the opening, when I come into the labels, I can see this little opening area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a circle. So I'm going to come on in here. I'm going to grab the ellipse tool. Again, I'll take a look. Sure, that looks like a decent size. I'll change the color so I can see it better. All right, so I'm going to grab this guy, bring him on down. I want him to be in the center. So actually, I want him to be at 2.5, so it's kind of cool. I can really see where it is. Now, a lot of times too, if you don't know if it's lining up the right way, just select it and come on up over here and horizontal align. Now I know that it's in the center. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to select both of these, and again, I will take the shape builder and delete this shape out. So I'll come on in here and grab the shape builder, hover, hover, click, and then click on off, grab the white arrow, click, delete, delete. All right, so now here I have this shape and it's all one shape. Now I'll add my drop shadow, effect. Again, get the effects from the Illustrator effects. I'll come to stylize, drop shadow, preview. Okay, there I have it. All right, so now I want to show you one more thing. Now, if you wanted to have the outline around it, you could do 2 circles, right? So, and then delete one out. That would be a way to do it. And you also could just add a stroke. Now, the only thing when you add a stroke is it will be on both sides. Oops, oops. So obviously I don't have this selected. So I can click on in and add a stroke, right? And then, so, now the only problem with this, again, is that it will also be on the edges, and you might not want that so much. Okay, I'm going to change this color, make it a little more vibrant. Purple, purple. Okay. All right, so, oof, that color is pretty atrocious. Let's see, there we go, that's much better. Okay, all right, so now, let's say I wanted to add like the scallop, and I can see this down below right in here. How did I go about doing that? Well, this is what I did. Okay, so I came on in, and I'm just gonna grab a rounded ellipse tool, and I'm gonna click right here. I'm actually gonna change the fill color, and I'm gonna turn this stroke off. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here is I have this shape, I could copy it, but I'm gonna just hold down Option, pull out another one of these shapes, and move it on over. Okay. Okay, that's much better. And again, guides are always great too, right? Because sometimes you want something to align and it's just not doing it for you. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, and I could also come down here and pull out a guide at the end, right? Okay, beautiful. So now I'm going to click onto both of these and I'm going to blend them. I am going to double click and I'm just going to come to specified steps, and I'm thinking that 5 is going to be okay. Now you might have smooth colors, specified distance. I'm going to stick with the steps. I'm going to put about 5 of these in between, and I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to double click. All right, and there I have it. Beautiful. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I have these guys right like this, and what they are is they're grouped, right? So I'm going to click them like this. I'm going to come to Object, and I'm going to expand them. I'm going to say OK. All right, now I'm going to take them and let's unite them. Okay, now this is just a shape. Let's take this shape, Let's bring it on down, and I can even make it a little bit bigger. Bring it on down, let it run over the side. All right, now you probably get what the next thing's gonna be, right? I'm gonna hover this, and I'm going to grab my shape builder tool one more time, and I can hover here. Looks like it got the whole thing, right? Excellent. I'm gonna click off, deselect. Okay, there we have it. Okay, I'm gonna clear the guide so we can see it a little bit better. So view, guides, clear guides. Okay. All right, and I'll turn this stroke off because I think it will look a lot better. All right, so there we have it with the scallop. And what we really did, just to recap, we're just taking shapes and merging them and adding a drop shadow. And we looked at rotating. We also looked at blending. And we can create some really interesting and fun vector labels. Real quick, just to recap, looking back at this label, and you probably get the sense all this is putting together a different set of shapes. So this label here very much focused on using the rounded rectangle tool, rounded rectangle here, rounded rectangle here, ellipse up in here, merging them, and using this one with the blend tool, specifying the distance, specifying the steps, and creating a series of vector labels. Thanks for listening.